My name is Aji, and today I'm bringing you the 11th episode of our Road to Champion League series. In the last episode, I played Duo Arena with Lloyd, a 14-year-old comp player, and despite having a rough start, we ended the episode closer to Champion League. However, ever since I've reached Division 7, it's become increasingly tough to get points. Don't get me wrong, I pretty much always end an episode with more points than I started with, but it's going to take me ages to get to 6,000 points if I carry on at this rate, and the season ends in just a few weeks, so something needs to change. Because of this, I decided to do something a little bit different in today's episode. Now, for those of you who haven't been following my channel for a while, last season I played 20 games on the Middle Eastern servers, and despite playing on high ping, I was able to win 3 or 4 games, and this was back when skill-based matchmaking was killing me in solos. Like, I couldn't buy a win on the European servers. I attributed my success on the Middle Eastern servers as being due to there being fewer players on the server, leading to less strict skill-based matchmaking. So in today's video, I'm going to be seeing if this will be the case in Arena as well, because if it is, then I could be about to reach Champion League a lot quicker than I was expecting. So, let's jump straight into the gameplay. When playing on the European servers, the player base is so big that the matchmaking is able to put you against players at a similar points total. And with me being close to Champion League, it means that pretty much everyone in my lobby is at least decent at the game. This, in combination with the high bus fare, means that it's gotten really tough to get points at this stage. But if the skill-based matchmaking is less strict on the Middle Eastern servers due to the lower player count, then I'd hopefully get more of a mix in terms of the skill level. In this first game, I've managed to get myself some really good loot, but now my main focus is on getting some extra fish, which would really help me during the endgame. However, I suddenly found myself getting shot at. With me playing on around 130 ping, I'm really out of my comfort zone, as I'm used to playing on around 20 ping, so I wasn't looking to get into any fights if I could help it. But it seems that this player is determined to fight me, so it's looking like I won't have a choice. And straight away, I can really feel that I'm on higher ping than usual. All of my builds feel delayed. It's horrible. I decide to drop down and box fight my opponent, but unsurprisingly, they take my build on the first attempt, and they get me incredibly weak. At this point, I'm just trying to get some distance between us, but my opponent keeps up the aggression, and somehow, she phases into my box. That wasn't the best start to the video, but we go again. So heading into this next game, I was hoping for a quiet start. I didn't get any points in the first game, so I was hoping that I'd have the beach huts all to myself, and then play for endgame. And thankfully, it's looking like I've got it all to myself. Until...
No! Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay, 1. Where was the glider audio? I had no idea that there was somebody gliding near me. And 2. I've got tap to interact on, so why wouldn't the chest open? Come on, Epic! I really need to start racking up the points now, so like usual, I decide to avoid players for as long as I can, and try to get some placement points. I see a care drop nearby, and decide to head towards it, as they come with a guaranteed launch pad, but I'm not the only player going for it. I attempt to build up towards the player, but my builds are so horribly delayed that it's really throwing me off.
What?
And it goes from bad to worse.
What?
I'm able to get the big shield on before my opponent decides to box fight me. But with me remembering how horrible box fighting on this ping was in the first game, instead of going for quick edits like I would normally do, I decide to jump right into my opponent's face, which ends up being really effective. I wish I'd got the kill, but at least I'm still alive, and I've got plenty of heals near me. And for the first time in this episode, I'm able to actually make it to the endgame, and get some placement points, which was surprisingly easy. I'd not run into any other players until this point, which meant that reaching the late game required little skill. And honestly, with there only being 7 other players left, this is a surprisingly dead endgame for Division 7. There would be double the amount of players left if I was playing on the European servers. Not that I was going to complain about it, as it allowed for easy placement points. Eventually, I heads towards the circle, but there's a player really close by.
Oh my god.
Did I really just survive with 4 HP? Jesus! I start getting focused by a player with an RPG, which is the last thing I need right now, considering I don't have any shield, and I suddenly find myself in the storm. I'm hoping that my opponent will lose track of me, but they're straight back on my case, and unfortunately, I'm one shot from an RPG.
Oh, fuck off.
In Game 4, I found myself contested at my drop, with me having the worst shotgun in the game. I don't want to be playing this too aggressively, but my opponent won't come out and fight me, so I'm forced to push him. Wow, a 28 damage headshot. Incredible! I might have been let down by my shotgun, but thankfully, it's all I need to kill this elite agent. Later that game, whilst heading to the circle, I suddenly found myself getting pushed.
Oh, you are fucking kidding me.
She puts a ramp in my box, which makes me really uncomfortable, and I fumble the edit. I'm able to crack a shield, which gives me a lot of confidence, as now she's the one having to play defensively. I don't really feel comfortable build fighting on this ping, so I'm forced to rely on hitting my shots, which actually goes pretty well.
Oh, shit on.
I might have won that fight, but it seems that I'd not been concentrating enough on the storm, as the circle is really far away, and I don't have many heals. I see a launch pad nearby, which is really helpful, but I'm still left with far to run, and when the storm starts ticking for 2, it's looking like this is going to be tight. But can I do it? Will I make it to the circle? Or will my match be brought to an abrupt end? Well...
Oh, you are kidding me. Oh my god.
And the frustration wasn't over there, as in the next game, whilst fighting a player at Weeping Woods, I get shot at from afar by a third party, and I'm quickly sent back to the lobby.
Oh, what the what? Oh.
When I'm playing on high ping, I can't play too aggressively, as I'm unable to take walls, and the building delay is absolutely horrible. I really don't envy people who live in places like South Africa, where they don't have a local server, as playing on this ping constantly would drive me insane. Granted, I'm sure it doesn't feel as bad once you're used to it, as you would be able to adjust your playstyle accordingly, but you'll never be at your best when playing on this ping, which would always frustrate me.
Oh my god, that's bad.
Not sure why I pulled out the flopper, but I still got the kill. I'd say that the biggest difference between playing Arena on the Middle Eastern servers compared to the European ones was that it seemed like everyone was just going for kills and didn't really care about placement. These games felt more like pubs, with people dying so quickly, whereas on the European servers, people take Arena a bit more seriously, so you get more stacked endgames. But with everyone going for kills, it meant that a really effective strategy would be to just avoid fighting for as long as possible, and I would easily rack up placement points, which I was more than happy to do. And by playing passively, and only getting into fights I'm forced into, I'm able to reach the top 5. There are only 4 other players left, and we're not even at the moving circle stage yet. That's actually mad. These endgames were just as dead as when I was in the Open League. I wonder why they take it less seriously on the Middle Eastern servers. Maybe because comp isn't as big there? I'm really not sure. Either way, I wasn't going to complain, because with there being barely any players left, and me having perfect loot, I was in a genuinely great position to go on and win the match. With 2 players going down to the storm, there are only 2 other players left, and I can hear them fighting up above me. And suddenly, I'm 1v1. Can I do it? can I go on to win this game? Oh god, this isn't looking good. I completely forgot that I had a launch pad. Please don't let me die like this.
Yes! Oh my god.
How the hell have I just won that? I'd pretty much accepted that I was going to die to the storm. I was on 17 HP. Unbelievable. I'm not quite sure how I won that last game. I thought I'd really messed up, but you know what? It was nice to just finally get a bit of luck. It's actually only my second ever win in Arena, so I'll definitely take it. Even if it wasn't the greatest win I've ever had. The next game, I once again make it to the end game, with little difficulty. I'm really raking in the placement points now. When I decided to play in the Middle Eastern servers, I was expecting the average skill level to be a little bit lower than I was used to, but I did run into a few pretty good players. And with me being on this ping, I was never likely to do well against them. Like in this fight here, the player decides to push me, but my builds aren't even placing properly, and it's a struggle to even reset this wall.
Reset? Fucking hell.
And against players like this, there's really not an awful lot I can do against them.
Fuck you, shot me.
In game 8, I decided to go for a new strategy, an alpha strategy that only the very best players can do. Oh my god, I'm the best player in the world. Yet again, I'm able to get plenty of placement points in this game before I hear the sound of a player crawling on the ground right next to me. I assume that they're a bad player, so I decide to fight them, and despite being at a huge ping disadvantage, I attempt to force my way into the box, which doesn't go very well.
Oh, I'm a dickhead.
I really shouldn't have played it like that. I won't make that same mistake in the next game. Or will I? Well, yep, it's that time again. As many of you will be aware, I have a tendency to forget to record my games, despite it literally only requiring me to press one button on my keyboard. And this was yet again one of those occasions. I'm not too sure what happened in game 9, but let's just assume that I won it with 10 kills. Anyway, let's head into our next game. So we've finally reached the last game of the episode, and honestly, it's gone way better than I was expecting. I've gotten way more points than I thought was possible, and the fact that I've managed to win a game was massively surprising, even though it wasn't quite a vintage performance. With me doing so well on the Middle Eastern servers, it was a massive sense of relief. My initial plan with this series was that if I was struggling to reach champs by the end of the season, then in the final episode I'd play the Hype Knights on all the different servers, which would have been an easy way to get to champs. But recently, Epic have completely stopped doing the Hype Knights, which obviously completely ruined my plan. But with me being successful on these servers, I'm now confident that I'll be able to reach Champion League. Although I think it's fair to say that when this series is over, I never want to play on this ping again.
Oh, fucking hell.
So that's the end of the 10 games. We started the episode on 5,000 points, and we've ended the episode on 5,500 points. And you know what? I couldn't be happier. Naturally, I wasn't able to get a lot of kills, but I was able to get a lot of points just by going for placement, and even got myself a win. In fact, this is the most amount of points I've got in a video since the first couple episodes. That's kinda crazy. But I have learned a couple things. One, that there are quite a lot of good players who play on the Middle Eastern servers, with some of them way too good for me, even if I was playing on good ping. And two, when I next play on these servers, when I get pushed, I can't play defensively like I would before, as it's impossible for me to hold the wall. I need to play more aggressively when I get pushed. In fact, I've got to play it more like a controller player, less focusing on edit plays, and instead just jump into the box and go for the 50-50. Building and editing is horrible on this ping, so next time I'll have to focus on just hitting my shots, and hopefully I'll be even more successful next time. So, have you ever played Arena on a different server? And which server do you think is the hardest to reach Champion League on? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, If you want to support me as a content creator, then feel free to use my creator code, which is on the screen now. So anytime you buy something in the item shop, then use my code, it will go directly towards supporting the channel, which would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time for another video. Goodbye.